Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing so far? Welcome to the session. Today is December 1st, 2022. My name is Jose Blasco. We are about to get started with our special monthly session with Jose, which is me. And as we're getting ready to get started, as you may be noticing, if you are a usual attendee of our sessions, we have made a few changes on certain logistics surrounding how we conduct sessions and how we interact and everything else. And the first thing that you have on the screen, and I would like to request everybody, is to download the SpeakUp app, either for iOS or for Android. And it's going to be the SpeakUp app that you find on those app stores with that little purple hand facing up. And it's a free app for you to install. And the moment you install it, then you would want to enter the chat room with the room key, which is 56355, which is the room key you have on your screen. This is the way for us to interact on the chat. And again, that way we can be more anonymous and also more efficient with our communication, since we're going to be able to run more advanced type of engaged conversations thanks to SpeakUp versus a regular chat on, let's say, on YouTube. Okay, so please go ahead and get the app. The moment you get the app installed and you are in, please go ahead and type a quick hello on the chat so I know all is good. I am typing hi myself right now. Okay, so just typed hi, and I'm sending that. So here we go. My hi is out there. And again, it's going to be your turn whenever you have it ready and installed on your computer, on your phone. Okay. As we are getting organized to get started, so I would also want to highlight, as always, our financial disclaimer on the upper left side of the screen. Please read it carefully. Well, I'm not sure why it is moving so slowly. So I guess that, yeah, not sure why the disclaimer is playing so extremely slowly. That actually makes no sense. So let me do this just to be pragmatic. I'm just going to highlight the disclaimer differently. I'm just going to highlight the disclaimer on the bottom part of the screen instead of the top left, and that way you can just read it a bit faster. Okay, this is a nice speed for you to read it, and you can be fully aware of all legalities surrounding financial markets, trading, today's session together, etc., etc. Okay, so again, today's session is a special monthly session for trading and review, which means that in today's session, the idea is that you come to me with questions, we review trades that you have executed, we talk about trade management, we talk about, anything you'd like, anything you need as a trader, and of course, we'll do some trading as well. It certainly depends on the amount of questions I get from you and so on. And being a new session today, I would expect that maybe you are not 100% ready for this new format of the sessions. And you may have few questions only, and if that's the case, it's okay. I'll work with you on that, with that. But just keep in mind that for the future, we are changing the format of our sessions. We are streaming flash trading ideas in a consistent basis throughout the week, and once a month we will be conducting our special monthly session. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, great. So I would say that with all of this, our session is probably now officially introduced. So I'm going to take a sip of water and we begin. Sorry, I was muted because I muted myself since I needed to cough. My bad. Sorry for that. So I was saying, and I just typed it on the app, that you could go to speakup.info. On the top, you will see that there is a button to get to the chat box using the web. And that way, if you prefer to use a keyboard instead of the phone, you can certainly do that. Okay, but again, it's a pretty normal practice these days. SpeakUp is used in universities. Students use it all the time on their phones, and it's pretty normal. Okay, so we're gonna be modernizing ourselves a little bit here in the sessions, and instead of using the classical YouTube chat box, we're gonna use something a bit more current with the times and useful, which is the SpeakUp app. But again, I totally understand if you prefer to use a computer, and you can do it on the web. Okay, so take a look at speakup.info. Okay, and again, today, since it's the first time today that we are having a little bit of a change of format in our communications. So, well, obviously, I'm taking a little bit of extra time to explain the changes, and again, in the future, we'll be able to move a bit faster. Okay, but obviously, a change is a change, and we all need to get accustomed to it. Anyway, so great to see you guys. Wonderful that we are connected and we are ready to go here. Okay, so I was going to start with doing a little bit of an analysis of the VIX, right? And here we see 55-minute time frame of the VIX, and if we look at this chart, we are currently trading at 80.84, and I guess that we all agree that 20.84 is quite low for the VIX. If you look at the information available in this particular chart, where the high were found at 34, 35, 34.5, I mean to say, and the lows here is kind of like 19 point something. So if we are trading at levels of 20 plus, so certainly the VIX is low. Now, of course, we know it's all relative, and there have been times and years, actually for years and years, in this past decade, the VIX was trading at levels where 20 actually would be quite high. So, but of course, the market volatility that we are experiencing, since the pandemic started in 2020 and so on, the levels of volatility are much interesting, and a VIX of 20 at this moment in time would be seen as low. So, in other words, overall, across the board, with a VIX pointing at 20, a low VIX, obviously it seems to be more interesting for us to be options buyers and option sellers. Okay, so this, as a general rule of thumb, is something for us to keep in mind. Of course, we cannot just buy options just because the VIX is low, because certain stocks may have high levels of implied volatility, just because maybe there is some event around those. I mean, for example, in recent times, we've seen Twitter with levels of volatility were quite interesting because of all the acquisitions and so on. And these may or may not follow what the S&P is doing. So stocks got life on their own, isn't it? They are, creatures that have their own lives. Having said that, overall, just like it's healthy to trade in the overall direction of the S&P when you trade stocks. Wonderful. Good to see these guys. All good here. Wonderful. Thank you for that. So, as we said, we know it is helpful to trade in the overall direction of the S&P, because most of the stocks tend to follow the market. We always talk about these concepts where stocks are a fragile thing, and fragile means you have to treat it with care. It's like a beautiful, beautiful cup, for example. It's very fragile. Beautiful, it's nice to have, but you have to treat it with care because it could break. So stocks is the same thing, and in that sense, we like to trade in the direction of the S&P, right? With the VIX, the same thing happens, right? If you find a stock with low volatility and the VIX is low, the odds for the volatility to increase on the stock is higher, not only because volatility was low on the stock itself, but also it was low on the overall market, right? So that's why we start the analysis with the VIX, okay? Now, changing to the S&P now, so you can see here on the left where we have, and not like this, let me do this like that, here we go. So we can see here that we have a climate which is confirmed to the upside, okay? This climate just started, 1 out of 5, so this is looking good for the markets to go up. Having said that, careful, because we can see, again, I just made the same mistake, sorry about that. We can see how the implied volatility of the puts, which is the gray line, is now above the implied volatility of the calls, which is the blue line. This has not been the case for a long time, where the blue line was above the gray. And, I kept saying in prior sessions, there are buyers in the market, and there have been great opportunities to go long. Actually, today we need to close some trades that we planned in past sessions that made money on the way up, and it's now time to close because we have reached targets. So I'll point at that in a moment. While this was the case, where at times we got down climates, but the blue line was about the gray, so it was not time to buy, but it was time to get ready to buy, because the moment we got a climate confirmation, that's it. Well, now we kind of have the opposite. The climate is confirmed to be blue, but we got sellers in the market at this moment in time. Okay, they are sellers in the market, and we know that thanks to options. Now, thanks to options, we know there are sellers in the market, but we don't know at what price point. That's why we use the UFOs, right? So we can then spot entries and exit points more accurately. But it's important to know that, given the fact that there are sellers in the market, that probably the continuity of this climate, it's probably not going to be like the prior climate that extended past 5. Okay, it went way beyond 5. And one of the reasons for that is because there were many buyers in the market, and the market was trading at price points where the buyers were. So the market kept going and going and going. Okay, but now we are blue, but below we can see the sellers coming in. Okay, so we have to be careful if you're going to be in trades to the long side. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but certainly you may want to have targets which are fairly close. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of water, guys, if you don't mind. Sorry about that. I'm back with you. Very good. So, okay, everyone. For some of you, I can see that some of you just joined the sessions. So I believe that maybe some of you are wondering, how do I get into the chat box? How are those guys chatting? So you have it on the screen right now. Please install the Speak Up app, either for iOS or Android, and key in the room key, which is 56355, and then you will be able to come into the room where some of us are here and we are chatting right now. Okay. So now, many of you got the app installed. Many of you are ready to chat now. So I would just like to ask, how is it going? Because at the beginning of the session, I did ask this question, but obviously you were not able to answer because probably you were getting ready with the app and everything else. So how is everything going? Give me a little quick update of your trading, yourself. How is it going? What is it that you'd like me to cover today, etc., etc. Okay. Again, this is our special monthly session. Which, together with our special monthly sessions, we are, as I said at the beginning, for the ones of you that didn't hear, because you were connecting, together with the monthly sessions, we are running, and we're going to be running multiple times a week, flash stream trade ideas that will pop on all our social media channels, such as YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. And because those flash ideas will depend on when we identify them in the market, they will not be scheduled. It could be any time during the day. And we will again, be streaming the moment we identify those opportunities. Sorry, I was thinking two things at the same time. And the second thing I was thinking is that, my recommendation for you guys is that you install the LinkedIn app on your phones, and you follow our LinkedIn page, Trade with UFOs, and then when we go live, you will be notified. So then you can just catch up with us. And those streams are going to be short, 8, 10 minutes, 15 minutes maximum. We'll present a trade. Earlier, I did one. I presented a calendar spread. You can go find the video on our website on our YouTube channel, and you can go take a look. And we'll be doing that regularly during the week. So you'll have many opportunities for you to practice your trading. And I guess that will be very useful. Again, this is the change of format has a lot to do with the feedback that we've received from you guys. Okay, so make sure that you understand that today I'm conducting the session a little bit like what you guys are used to, but the intention in the end is that you guys come ready to this question after a whole month of trading. You come back to me with questions, with concerns, with whatever you need me to review. I don't know. I'm here for you, my friends. Okay, so just count on me, and of course, if you have no questions, then we'll trade. But it would be a great opportunity to really go over your stuff instead of my stuff. Okay, cool. Thank you for those feedbacks. And you downloaded the wrong app at first. I get you. Yes, it's the one with a purple hand pointing up. Yes, correct. Very good. Nice. yes, to get instant notifications on LinkedIn, you just want to go to our page. Maybe what I'll do is, let me bring a web page here, and I will show you. Give me a moment. Okay, getting our page here. So if you go to linkedin.com and you go to linkedin.com/company /trade with UFOs, I will copy this now so you have it. Okay, so you will come to our LinkedIn page. Okay, I just put it there on Speak Up. So if you go to that URL, you will come to our page. Okay, so again, I am one of the admins of the page. So if I click on View as a member, so you will see the page the way you see it as a user of the page. So we got 6,000 plus people that are followers. What do you need to do to become one of the followers? You just need to click on, where it says following for me. For you, it will say follow. You just click on that button, and then you install the LinkedIn app on your mobile phone. So every time we go live, you will get alerts. Okay, so you can see here on our home, like the prior stream was here. Okay, so flash stream for UFO traders, that was earlier today. And again, if you missed it, another good place where to go is YouTube. Even though YouTube is less generous with the notifications compared to LinkedIn, that's why I'm suggesting LinkedIn. But if you come to Trade with UFOs, okay, so here on the very front page of our Trade with UFO channel, let me turn off this video. So if you come to the very front page, here you have your flash trade ideas, and then they're gonna be here. Okay, so today this is a flash UFO trade idea with options, December 1st. So this is the trade idea I did earlier today. Okay, so you can, you will see them here. You can, that could be another routine if you prefer not to install an app or depend on notifications. You could just come to our YouTube channel, and in a regular basis, you just take a look at, flash trade ideas here on the very front page of our channel. Okay, it's going to be there. Of course, ideally, you subscribe to the channel. Okay, you have this button join. You can click on join, and you can subscribe to the channel. There is a notification bell as well, but the notification bell will not alert you. It will alert you only if you were subscribed to a specific schedule, which is not the case. Okay, so that's why I recommended LinkedIn. So you will much more likely get those notifications on the phone, so you can then just watch that video. We are targeting 8-10 minutes, so I guess that you can do that any time during the day, unless you're in a meeting or something. Cool. Okay, so let's continue. So where are we in the S&P? Well, the S&P is moving higher. The VIX is low, but careful. We got sellers entering the market. We know this thanks to options. Okay. So now that we know all of this, the second part of the session that I would like to have with you guys is to look at the positions that we have. Again, I am conducting today's session in a way that is quite similar to any other time. No, you don't need LinkedIn to be open to get a notification on your phone. You as long as your LinkedIn app is installed on the phone and you logged in once, so your phone knows what's your user on LinkedIn, then you can just close the app and never open it again. But whenever you have a notification, just like if you receive a WhatsApp message or you receive a Telegram message, so you will get a pop-up on your phone, so you will be alerted. Okay, you can try and you let me know. Okay, feel free to email me as well. Yeah, so no problem. It's going to be a little bit of an experimentation to get used to a new process, but it's going to be quite simple. You'll see. So anyway, so let's look at the trades that we have open. Okay, and again, I'm ready to listen to you carefully when it comes to questions you may have. Okay, so anytime you have questions, you let me know. So Autodesk. Okay, so Autodesk is the one trade that was completed on November 25. I have missed a few sessions in the past month because, as you can see, still with my cough, unfortunately, I was not 100%, with all my strength. So sorry about that, but hey, I guess we are human. I did give instructions on how to manage the trade, and we've done these double calendars that become double diagonals at the end. We've done that a fair amount of time. So I believe that you guys were, you had no problem to do that. Okay, the Autodesk trade ended up as a profit. The trade is now over. I mean, we can look at the chart, but again, expiration date. The last expiration date was November 25, and November 25 was right here, where the stock was trading between our purple lines. And to be honest, it didn't matter where the stock would be, because we saw it was going to be a short-term profit anyway. But anyway, so that's where it was, and the trade ended up being a short-term profit. I'm not sure if the values I have here, given the fact that the expiration date is already passed, the values will be accurate or not. But it looks like we made between $200 to $300 of profit per contract. So I guess thank you very much, Autodesk, and the trade is now over. Okay, so I'm just gonna delete Autodesk and go for the next one, which is Coca-Cola. Which this one, if I'm not mistaken, it's open, it's making money, it's reaching target, and it's probably time to close. So this trade is supposed to be making $65. If I'm looking at TOS, the Coca-Cola trade shows $63 of profit. So yes, it's representing the same amount of capital. And so let's load the chart with Coca-Cola and let's talk about what is it that we have here. So yes, so the trade that we executed here at this moment in time, initially went against us, then our way, then against us, then our way, then teased us a little bit, and from there went to the target. Okay, so we actually are past target now. Okay, well, thank you very much. But basically, that's it. We are done. Okay, so if you recall, that was a pretty powerful trade that we did. We had a slightly different approach on how we planned this trade together, if you recall. Again, I remember it was a pretty interesting conversation. So anyway, time to close the trade. And this is a pretty interesting combination, right? Because we are short two puts, long one put, and long one call. So if you try to select everything and right click to close, okay. So, TOS or most trading platforms typically allow 4 legs, some platforms up to 8, but most of them 4 legs on a trade. In this case, we got 3. So you should be allowed to place an order to close the whole thing. Okay. But notice that it caps it, and from 3 legs, it gets it to 2 because it doesn't recognize what that is. Again, it was an original type of trade. It's an original type of trade, original in the sense that it's not a classical option strategy like a bull call spread or things of that sort, right? So so what do we do? How should we close this? Well, when you're gonna close a trade in pieces like this one, and it's not too critical because Coca-Cola is a fairly low price point stock, but at the same time, when you're gonna close a trade like that in pieces, you wanna be aware of margin requirements. And notice that here I got 2 short puts, and then a long put and a long call. And if you know about margins, which I believe you do, so the margin required to own a put is whatever you pay for the put. The margin needed to own a call is whatever you pay for the call. And the margin to sell puts, it's significantly higher. It's about 20% of the underlying price at that strike per put. And in this case, it's time 2. So if I close the put and the call first, let's say I selected those 2, which could be seen as a strangle, and I decide to close that strangle, I'm going to be left with 2 naked puts where my margin impact is going to be great, and depending on the capital available in the account, you may get a margin call. Okay, so in cases like that, the best thing to do is to close the units that require the greatest amount of margin first, which in this case is the 2 short puts. I'm gonna get rid of them. Okay, and let me see. Try the midpoint at 20. And once you get filled, I just got filled, 18. Thank you very much. So once you get filled, let me change a setting here. I always forget. Application settings. I always get the notifications for the where was it? Or the defaults display. I forgot where it was. I always get the notifications in front of my screen, and then I cannot move quickly. Okay, so I forgot what it was. I need to check that. This is one of the settings on TOS that you change one in your life. So I forgot what it is. Anyway, so I'll do that another time, okay? But basically, so we got the puts out of the way. So now we're gonna get the long put and the long call, and those are requiring extremely little amount of margin. So now I'm gonna close them together like a strangle. I'm gonna go for the midpoint 106. Let's see if I can get that, and then I'm gonna be locking in that profit, and I'm gonna be out of the trade because we have already reached the target. Okay. Okay. Got it. That's it. So the Coca-Cola trade is now over, and we are ready now to continue our exercise. Okay, so bye Coca-Cola. Nice one. Hopefully that was a good learning experience. Hey guys, by the way, on the Speak Up app, let me know, guys, how many of you have executed either the Autodesk trade or this trade with Coca-Cola or the Morgan Stanley, Pfizer, Altria Group, all those trades that we have in the portfolio running at this moment in time. How many of you have executed those trades? How did it go? How was the learning experience? Any doubts? Any questions? That would be the second part, right? But the first part, I'd love to know more about how many of you actually triggered those particular trades into executing them. Let me know, please, on the Speak Up app, okay? I'll take another sip of water. Okay, so now Morgan Stanley, what do we have? Well, Morgan Stanley, we have a trade that will end in January 20. Okay, we still have a decent amount of time to go until we reach January 20. Let me load the chart. Okay, so what happened with this trade is that again, we got plenty of time to keep massaging the trade. I missed a week or two with you guys to massage the trade. I mean, I'm counting on you guys that you have been doing your homework there. But notice that we are encountering a case which we've seen before, where the stock is surpassing our upper purple line. And what that basically means is that probably when you try to get the 80 puts, you get extremely little premium. Okay, you get very little premium for the 80 puts, and maybe the efficiency of the massaging of this trade is not going to be the best. Okay, so this may be something that has been happening to you, or maybe not, because you have done it on time, not like me. Okay. You made $21 on Coca-Cola. I had orders to close when the target hit. Yes, correct. I mean, in my case, I made more than that, isn't it? But it's also because the price actually went past the target, and in this case, it's just a matter of just being a little lucky here because I'm meeting with you guys with days later. Given the fact that we don't have sessions in the schedule every day, and on top of that, I have been slightly unwell, isn't it? So, but good job. Okay, good job. I mean, remember the Coca-Cola trade. Just to recap, kind of, because it's a type of trade that we have not done before. I remember when I presented the trade, it was the first time I was presenting that concept. So this type of trade is a type of trade which is halfway between the mindset of an active trader and halfway in between, again, the mindset of that active trader and a long-term passive, conservative, long-term investor, right? And if you recall, so in other words, we went to the target, you made 21. It's not like we made 210, we made 21. It's not like it's amazing, but it's a profit, and it was done in a way that was quite conservative because it would have taken a lot of pain on Coca-Cola to start hurting you, isn't it? The puts that we were using were so much lower and very well located, by the way, and with those UFOs and everything else that we did when we planned the trade. So it was a very conservative trade, and we know in trading that the more conservative, the less the risk, and the less the risk, what? The less the reward. So we know that, isn't it? So good one. Okay, good one, good job, and I'm very happy that you made those $21, even though it's not like an amazing amount of money, but very happy because the experience is what counts. And now you have homework to do. You can go out there and try to find opportunities that replicate those setups and plan the trades together, evaluate, and practice those. Okay. You have been rolling Morgan Stanley calls, trying to sell the put for 15 cents. So you got stuck on the put side. Okay, yeah, that's what I was expecting. Okay, got it. So let's take a look. So first of all, what is it? What do I have in my account? Okay, when it comes to Morgan Stanley. Well, when it comes to Morgan Stanley, I am short 100 shares of stock and I have a strangle. Okay, how come I'm short? Well, because I let one option be in the money into expiration. I didn't roll it. Okay, because we didn't meet, so I didn't roll it. So I got shares of stock. Is that a problem? Well, from a margin point of view, is using $13,000. So if that money was not available in the account, of course it's a problem. You get a margin call. But if you do have that capital, it's not a problem at all, because from a risk point of view, you have no problem, in the sense that you own a call against the 100 short shares that you are, right? So the more the stock goes up, you stay neutral. It doesn't matter how high it goes, because the call will offset all the pain for being short stock. So not a problem. Now, having said that, while that's not a problem, we are not adding premium. Okay, and this is something that you guys have been doing, but I have not been doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and add premium, right? So how do we add premium? Well, first of all, we are gonna have to load Morgan Stanley, and we're gonna have to load the right expiration date, which is going to be December 9, which is the next expiration date. And from here, we're going to have to pick options. Okay, I want to start with the puts, because we got nothing on the put side. And on the put side, notice the puts are trading at 2 and 3 cents. So, as you said perfectly, I'm willing to get my 15 cents and I'm going to get stuck there. But nothing stopped me from placing the order, because if the market was to fall hard, which could happen, we just saw the S&P got sellers on board, isn't it? So if the market was to fall hard, you never know. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. I have no idea. You may get your 15 cents. So having the order in the system is a must. Okay, so we make it good till cancel, so it does not expire, and that one will be valid until into next week. Okay, so send the order, and I have my short. One of the 80 puts at 15 cents, good till cancel for Morgan Stanley, even though the likelihood of being filled is low, given the fact that the stock went higher above those purple lines, isn't it? Okay, what else? So now the 90 call. So what do we do with the 90 call? Okay, and also I would like to come back to here and do a little bit of the same exercise I've done before. So let me right click to create a risk graph, so I can add those legs, right? So edit, okay, and I'm gonna add 2 options legs using December 9, and an empty price point here. So December 9, December 9, so we got call and put. Okay, so far, okay, so far the premium that I have, you guys have more than me, but the premium that I have is, for the short ones, is 262 and 068. Okay, so 262 and 068 for the call, 262 for the put, 068. So I have that. Okay, now the only thing I did is I changed December 9. Okay, so I'm assuming at some point I may get filled on the 80 put, and I get it. And if I don't get it, no problem. Next week when I do a simulation, I'll do December 16, and I'll keep doing it. And if I never get it, it's not a problem, because really I'm not adding to this number. So it's not like I'm adding credit, faking the P&L. I am not doing that. So as long as you leave your credit value here the same, every week you can change that expiration date, and you are re-simulating your trade with the same amount of credits, which is a realistic way on how to simulate. So that's correct. Now for the call, of course, now I'm going to have to do some rolling here, isn't it? So if I get the call and I right click to create a rolling order, no, these were not correct. Let me take a look at this again. Create a rolling order. Okay, Oh yes, I'm clicking on the wrong one. Sorry for that. No, this is very silly of me. I'm clicking on the ones I'm long. I don't have any call. I don't have anything to roll. That's very silly of me. I need to sell a call, which is 90 call. So now, if I sell the 90 call, I'm gonna get 335. Now, is that net? I mean, let me do it because it may take a while to get filled. So I'm just gonna put it out there. Let's see how much I get when I get filled. Okay, I got 335. So okay, great. So it looks like I got 335. Okay, but at the same time, I am short 100 shares, okay, of stock, which I need to close. And when I close them, I'm gonna close at market. When I close the shares of stock, these may give me a profit or may give me a loss. So let's go ahead and take a look what the outcome of this trade has been. Okay, now I am short an IT call, which I got paid 335. So in one hand, I could come back to top and I could say, okay, so to that number 262, I could add 335. Okay, and that would be step one. That would be a correct step one. Okay, so to 262, I could add 335, and that would give me a total amount of premium collected on the selling of the calls of 597. Okay, now having said that, while I collected a total amount of premium of 597, I sold the shares of stock at 92.1, okay, where I was put the stock short at 90 because I'm using the 90 strike for the call. So in other words, I lost 271. Okay, I lost 271 in the process. So the 597 should be diminished by 271, and therefore the realistic amount of premium I got on the call side by incorporating the loss on the assignment of shares would be 326, not 597. That would be a number that ignores the fact that you got assigned stock and you are now getting rid of the stock, buying it back at a higher price for a loss of $2.71. So when I click OK, now I am left with what the risk profile is, which is a risk profile which is currently providing a net profit of $112 per share on this particular trade. Worst case scenario, we still have risk on the trade. We could lose up to 226. Okay, that's the worst case scenario. We could lose up to 226. So there is still risk. Okay, if the market was to really crazy or drop crazy and volatility was not to rise, so that would obviously not be good. But remember, this trade started with a much higher risk, and every week we are massaging, even without getting that put, which is unfortunate. But still, we are reducing the risk of the trade, very significantly. And again, we are not only in profit, but if volatility rises a bit more, so next thing you know, we can make a much more significant profit. Okay, so we are gonna play this game all the way until January 20. Okay, so this is done, and I am now going to paste the result of this trade here so we can continue the tracking in future sessions. Next one is Pfizer. Okay, and I have not seen any question on the chat box. Very few of you have commented on the trades that you have executed. But yeah, so no questions so far. So if you have no questions, to be honest, I would love it if you could just type no questions. Okay, if you could do that, that would be great. And if you have a question, so this is the time. So please go ahead and let me know. Cool. So while I'm waiting for those chats, I would like to look at Pfizer, which is the next one in the list. So first let's look at the chart. Pfizer. So Pfizer, this was, to be honest, a perfect trade. We got in at this moment in time. Okay. Beginning part of the climate, buyers on board, the group was in the favor, and we went to the target very efficiently. Okay, very, very efficiently. We are actually meeting target exactly, precisely, and it's time to close the trade. This trade is making around $81 of profit. Let's take a look at TOS Pfizer. Here it shows $164 of. Oh yes, because got it. I made a mistake. I executed this trade with two contracts instead of one. So okay, you could ignore that. Is half of that is like 80. That's what matters. So this was just a very simple bull call spread, isn't it? We actually planned this trade using the strategy builder. It was an easy one, and yeah, and now it's time to get out. So I am closing the trade on Pfizer. Okay, let's see if I can get the fill. Okay, I'll just push it a bit because again, during the session, as you know, I like to waste no time, but at home, make sure you do this right, okay? So trying 185, did not get filled. Let me try 180. And if not, I'll use market order, which is something you should never ever do. Okay, that's it. I got filled at 182. Okay, great. So we have it. Okay, so bye-bye Pfizer. It's been great. Next one. And the next one is MO. Okay, so let's load MO. Okay, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we got into the MO trade as a hedge, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, if I am not mistaken, we got into it as a hedge. And given the fact that the market moved aggressively to the upside, let me see if I got, I don't remember if I drew my lines. I guess I didn't draw my lines. Okay, that's strange of me, but I can see how I drew the target below. So this was indeed a bearish trade, and that particular stock, MO, has been moving against us, and therefore it's showing a unrealized loss here of $47. Okay, now the beauty of this trade, if I graph it, MO, right click, risk graph. So the beauty of this trade is that the maximum we could lose on this trade is 49, where the maximum that can be made is 400, right? So it's, it's a pretty powerful reward to risk ratio trade that would only work if the market was to crash. So it was a form of a hedge, right? I believe, I'm pretty positive that that day when we planned the trade, it's some time ago now. So I may be wrong, but I believe that we talked about the fact that we got plenty of positive delta on the account. Let's add some negative delta, okay? Even though the S&P was showing blue color with a climate, with a volatility comparison, calls and puts, it was a hedge just in case. So a just in case type of trade does that, right? It went against us, so then of course he's losing. He's losing 47. The most he can lose is 49. So for sure, it's time to leave it alone. Okay, it's time to do absolutely nothing on this trade. And if the market was to crash very severely, this trade expires in December 16. December 16 is kind of like around the corner, but let's say something significant was to happen, this trade may pay. And if it doesn't pay, well, look, it's lost already 47. The maximum you can lose is 49. So leave it alone. No need to pay commissions to get out. Just to save $2, you have to pay more commissions than that. So it doesn't make sense, okay? So yeah, so that takes care of all the review. And a very good question: can you manage this trade with MO? Okay, that's a very good question. And the answer is no, because I mean, you could. So many things can be away options. Okay, but let me explain why I said no. Okay, so you could manage the trade in the sense that it's a spread, so you can butterfly it. You can ratio it. You can do a collection of things to diminish its cost and therefore the risk. The trade had a risk of $49, which is the cost. So if you were to sell another put against, for example, so you diminish the cost, and now instead of $49 of risk, you may have $35 of risk. Could you do those kind of things? Yes. But should you? Is it worth it? Does it even make sense? In my mind, it doesn't. And that's why I said no as my first answer. Why it doesn't? Well, because the reason why is because we got into this trade as a hedge, isn't it? You remember that? So you won a significant amount of delta exposure in case the market was to drop. This trade is a trade where the options used were out of the money. So it's a low cost trade that starts with low delta exposure. But if the stock falls hard, now the trade becomes in the money and the delta spikes, and now the trade is paying very heavily. And that's why you had this very good reward to risk ratio where the maximum profit was around $200 and the maximum risk is $49. Pretty nice. Okay, pretty nice. So in order to get that effect, you need the spread to be allowed to increase in deltas, okay, which means it needs to be an efficient positive gamma play. If you were to butterfly this trade to reduce the risk, okay, you would be killing the delta and even the delta effect if the stock was to drop, and therefore this trade would not serve as a hedge anymore. I mean, it's very unlikely going to work well, to be honest, because the stock is very far away, right? So, and we only got until December 16. I mean, it could, right? If you think of speed of movement, like in March 2020, right? So it could, but it's unlikely, right? But at the same time, what if that happens? What if you enter other trades to the long side and now, the market falls very heavily? This trade was there to bring some P&L in case the market drops and offset some of the problem attached to, having long positions on the market falling. And next thing you know, you just killed it just because you did not want to take, a little bit of a loss. So in a case like that, I would not manage it because of those reasons. Totally different story is if I was to get into a trade, which is not a hedge. Okay, it's a trade that from the beginning has been planned to have a significant amount of delta exposure, and the trade starts working against you. So then reducing the delta exposure of the trade would reduce the risk, would also reduce the profit, but it makes sense because you started already with a significant amount of delta, so reducing it is fine. Also, starting with a significant amount of delta means you paid a high price. So reducing the risk efficiently would make a lot of sense because you were using a main position of your portfolio where you were wrong, okay? And it has a high risk attached and it's clearly not moving your way, so you could certainly do that. But when you are doing it with a hedge, where we started using options that were fairly out of the money, so we kept the cost low, so the hedge is not expensive, and if the drop happens, the reward to risk ratio is spectacular. So if you were to act on that to reduce the pain and again apply techniques like what we've learned, such as butterflying, so next thing you know, you would be killing that effect completely. And then basically the question is, so why did you take this trade in the first place? It's kind of like, and I'm not saying this is what you're thinking. I'm just saying this is what I would think about myself if I did that, which is, if I do this trade as a hedge, I was ready to lose the amount. I paid for it. That's what a hedge means. Okay. If I was looking at my hedging trade as a trade and I wanted to massage it and manage it, like to try to maximize its profitability or diminish its risk to the maximum, so then that would mean that you're actually looking at that position like one of the main positions of your portfolio instead of as a hedge. Okay. So if you recall how we built the trade that day, it was a lot about hedging the portfolio, and therefore that's a long explanation. like you sometimes get from me, but hopefully it helps to clarify and get that concept clear in your mind. So when you're planning your trades, you keep that very much in your mind forever, okay? Because this is a pretty critical concept. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, so guys, look, we got 10 minutes left before the session is over, so it's very little amount of time. I would certainly get some questions from you guys, okay? Maybe some generic questions about trading or trading options or other assets as well, because again, this is our monthly session with me in this case, and I mean, definitely, I'm a real options lover, but it doesn't mean that's the only thing I trade. So I'm sure some of you are trading assets other than options as well. So if you want to ask questions about anything, we could use those 10 minutes for that. Maybe you don't want to ask questions, but maybe recently you learned a good lesson about something that happened in the market, or maybe you want to talk about FTX, and digital assets. I don't know, you name it. I'd love to hear from you guys with either questions or suggestions or comments or opinions or anything else. And by the way, as we are learning to use SpeakUp, you can see as well that one of the benefits of this app, which has been a request, is that it's anonymous. So when you type, only you know that you typed. Obviously, it also has the downside, right? Because often you guys type, and I know it's Mark, I know it's Jeff, I know it's Joe, etc. Right? Sorry, guys. But at this moment in time, unless you type your name, when you type on the chat box, I wouldn't know it's you, which is the beauty of anonymous, which some of you requested. But it's less nice when you don't want to be anonymous or when we know each other already. So I personally would love to see your names. So maybe a good practice that we could implement when we are chatting, right? If you guys are keen to show yourselves, and you can just type your name, colon, and then you type what you want. Or if you want to keep it anonymous, I totally respect that. It's not a problem at all. Okay. And also in these last 10 minutes, okay, while you guys are probably hopefully typing something for me, and again, it doesn't need to be a question. It could also be comments, suggestions, opinions about the market, opinions about the world, if you wish. While you guys are typing that, I also wanted to point at the fact, and I'm not sure if you've seen it or not, but on the right and the left side of the app, you got a thumbs up and a thumbs down, which could be clicked. And I just clicked on 3 of the thumbs up. And I wanted you guys to go ahead and randomly tap on some of the thumbs ups and also some of the thumbs down for you to see what happens, okay? Because notice how the overall count in the end ends up being added up. So let's say 5 of you tapped on up and 2 of you tapped on down. So 5 minus 2, it's actually 3, right? So you will have a net count of 3. So we will be installing on SpeakUp, as we all get used to it, a collection of very useful polls and things of that sort, so we can be more efficient on how we interact. And sometimes I will ask you certain questions about, hey, should I use the 55 strike, right? And with the up and down, thumbs up and things like that, you'll be able to answer those questions, and we can team up a little more when we do certain things, which could be a bit more fun as well. Okay. I see you, Mark, and I also see the message. I don't like anonymous. I get you. To be fair, I don't like it either. But again, I also want to be respectful of everyone, and we have some traders in the community that seem to not to be comfortable to type, hey, Jose, I lost money on Microsoft, and I get it. It's fine. I respect it 100%. So I guess it's like many other things in life. It's just we need to get used to it. It's just like my shirt that is changing colors. It's something new to me, right? That's a bad joke, by the way, but yeah. So yeah, a few changes, and I guess we evolve, we get better. Sometimes in that evolution process, we may make mistakes, and we decide to change again. And again, just keep giving us the feedback, because all the changes and all the evolutions are always with the greatest intention from our end to help you guys, to support you. So feel free to again to comment, and if you're talking about being anonymous, if you prefer to shoot an email to me, you can certainly do that. Okay, I read those emails very carefully, and some of you have emailed in recent times as well. So again, I take all of this very much into consideration and always trying to do the best. Okay, so keep doing that, please. Cool. So we got 5 minutes left, my friends. Okay, and so I'm not gonna get into planning on a trade. Also, the purpose of these sessions, it's a bit different than before. Magic shirt, yes. You guys like it? You guys like it? The new background, dark background with a shirt that changes colors. Yeah, again, just trying to have fun a little bit here, and do things that are a bit different. Yeah, cool, very cool. Okay, so it seems that we are reaching basically the ending time of the session. Then, if there are no more questions or comments, so my friends, one important thing as well, maybe since we know each other very well, right? Isn't it? All of us in the session, because it's not the first time that we meet. I wanted to share something with you that you probably have seen, because we've been quite vocal recently on during the Thanksgiving season with Black Friday emails, Cyber Monday emails, and so on. But I'm actually super excited about something we've done, because we've launched our own digital assets, right? We've launched our own NFT, and I wanted to show you this very quickly in case you guys don't know about NFTs or what they are. Because again, it's something very novel, and when something is very novel, sometimes it's difficult to explain. And this could be extremely beneficial to yourselves, even though I guess that most of you are totally set with technologies for trading and so on. But for some of your trading buddies, some of your trading friends, this could be very, very useful. So I'll just explain this in 2 or 3 parts, and I'll ask you a question here. So we've launched our own NFT. And of course, it's not an art NFT. It's not the picture of a monkey, with all respects for the pictures of the monkeys that are pixelated and that people pay for them. So with all respect for that, that's not what we've done. We've launched an NFT, which is what you could call as a utility NFT. You could also call it as a membership NFT, if you'd like, or a subscription NFT, which basically it's a contract, it's a non-fungible token. You could think of it of a contract which is encrypted and registered in the blockchain, by which the owner of such contract gains a series of benefits. And that's why it's called a utility NFT. So the NFT has utility, and the utility in this case is the lifelong access to the auto UFOs for either TradingView or NinjaTrader, together with our trading book, together with a course, a collection of extra benefits. But basically, the real the biggest value, if you wish, is the lifelong subscription. So this is for TradingView and NinjaTrader only, and it's lifetime. And again, for new members in the community, then they may want to utilize technologies. This is probably the best way to do it, I would say. Now, having said that, we've learned a lot from many questions that we received throughout this Thanksgiving season with Black Friday and Cyber Monday offer. And the one thing that we've learned is that most people are very confused, starting with what's an NFT, right? So I just wanted to clarify this for you guys, in case that's a question that. Yes, you're right. Well, that's actually because my lighting is not well set, and what you see behind my head is actually the back of my chair. So that's my little secret there. I'll need to fix the lighting for that not to have it. So yeah, so basically an NFT is a contract. Okay, so let's say you want to join a gym and you have a membership, so you sign some paper, let's call it a contract, and now you're a member of the gym. So an NFT is the same thing, but the difference is that there is ownership attached to it. So when you have a gym membership, you don't own it. You own the right to go to the gym, but you don't own the membership. In other words, you cannot resell the membership to someone else because it's not yours. Okay, what you have is the right to go to the gym, but you cannot do anything with that membership but use the right. Well, an NFT implies ownership, so that's why it's very novel and it's very confusing to most people, but it's probably the best way to get memberships for now and into the future, because when you buy an NFT, you own it. So you own the subscription, which means that allows you to resell it. So you can resell it on the blockchain. Let's say you buy it, and let's say for whatever reason one day you stop using it, or even if you don't stop using it, let's say you change platform, so you don't use TradingView anymore, now you use another platform or something like that. So you can resell it, and therefore, and depending on the sell price, by the way, you could make a profit. That's a potential opportunity. Now, may or may not happen, but you could resell it because you own it, right? So this is something quite unique, and not only that. You actually can stake it, which means that an NFT is an asset, and therefore it could be put on the side and used on the blockchain as a collateral asset to be the guarantee in exchange for loans, for example. And therefore, staking your NFT means that would generate return on investment. Of course, that implies using a staking platform. To be honest, our first version of the NFT is not stakeable. I'm not sure that's a real word, but you know what I mean. And again, for the owners of our first ever NFT, we are putting them in a whitelist. So the moment we have the technology to do staking, and we will need to create a new NFT for that. So then what we'll do is that we will replace the old NFT with a new NFT, and then it will be staked. And again, so imagine that you buy a gym membership and now you stake it, and now you make a return on investment on that membership, and then you go to the gym. So you use the benefits, and then one day you stop going to the gym because you change neighborhood and the gym is too far. So then you sell the membership to someone else, and you may make a profit out of it. So again, it's a very intelligent way to me to be subscribed to something. It's very novel, and therefore it's very confusing. And just wanted to share with you because I'm super excited about it. And I guess that you all have trading friends, and you may want to spread the word because I guess it's a good one for everyone. But anyway, with that said, we just reached the top of the hour there. In this case, 30 minutes after the hour, and I guess it's time for me to say bye. Are you guys confused about the NFTs, or was that a clarifying conversation, or was it clear in your mind already before I explained it? And by the way, the website that you see is called OpenSea. Is like Amazon for NFTs. It's a marketplace, so people go there to buy pictures of pixelated monkeys. Okay, but you can also buy serious NFTs like ours. Anyway, cool. So I guess that it's all clear. Okay. So, my friends, I will say bye. I will see you in the next one. Stay tuned for those flash sessions where we're going to be pushing out a collection of trades out there. It's going to be very diverse. It's going to be futures. It's going to be options. It's going to be stocks. It's going to be crypto. It's going to be forex. It's going to be future. I think I said it's going to be a lot of everything. Okay, so you guys take care. Keep up the good work. And if you need anything, of course, we're here to help. I will flash the questions link, which is not like you don't know it exists, but just in case you have it there. Take care, my friends. See you in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone. And thanks for working with me on getting accustomed to new habits with the Speak Up app and everything else. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.